Right. Good evening, guys. Am I audible to you all? Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, everyone. So we'll begin the class now. As- one second, please. Okay, sorry for that, guys. So today for the class, we're going to discuss question tags. Right? You probably have already seen. Mood, we'll see if we have good enough time to take a look at it. We'll see. But otherwise, we're mostly going to concentrate on the topic of question tags. Okay. So, like always, we're going to do this in two parts. Of course, we're going to look at what are. Um, just a second. Uh, why am I getting these notifications? Just a second. Okay, yeah. So, as always, we're going to be talking about, the topic at hand in two forms. One is we're going to look at what its functional relevance is, that why do we use them or what is their actual job in the language. And then we're also going to look at the structure, which is the grammar of the topic at hand, right? So today we're going to look at question tags, and question tags, again, just like your model verbs, phrasal verbs, they're again a huge part of spoken language, right? So rarely or almost impossibly, you may locate question tags in written in English, format, whether that's formal or informal. Usually, people will not use them in the written format. Question tag is particularly and very specifically something that is associated with the conversational language, right? So, what are they? The kind of things that you see. So, let me start by giving you an example, right? So, if I have a question, say some sentence like this, right? Um, she is a doctor, right? Isn't she? Right? So, which part of this is the question tag? The last question part, right? Isn't she? This is your question tag, right? Now, why do we call it a question tag? Any guess? Why is it called a question tag? Why not a question? This is because it's almost like a question. Then why is it that we call it a question tag and not a question? Any guesses
Ma'am,
that you
because
have?
we are confirming it from another person.
Okay, so that is usually the function of a question tag, right? This is why you use a question tag. My question is particularly on why do you call it a tag? Why not a question? Because this is also very much like a question. What is the usual format of a question? Something like, where do you work? Or what time do you eat? Or when are you going home? Right? This is your usual format of a question. But is this like that? Structurally, it's a different thing, right? Question tags do not have relevance unless there is a statement that goes before it. So if I simply say, isn't she, is that a good question to ask to anybody? People will have to ask follow-up questions. Isn't she what? Right? But
Yes,
isn't
ma'am.
she is more like a tag attached to a statement. It's like a question lookalike tag that is attached to an original statement. So remember, anything that comes with a question tag is actually a sentence. It's like a proper statement. It's not a question by itself. Question is different from a question tag, right? This is just a question lookalike tag that's attached to a statement. That is where the name tag comes from, question tag. Okay. So question tag, now the next thing is, like, I think you've already said, why do we use a question tag? There are several, at least two purposes why someone would use a question tag. One is, of course, to confirm, right? You're asking something and you're not, when you're asking this, when you say she's a doctor, isn't she? This is not, you're not looking forward for an answer, a content answer from anyone, right? You're only trying to confirm if what you know is right, right? If it is in rising tone, now you probably already had learned about it and you have already watched that lecture on rhythm, pitch, and intonation, right? Remember what intonation was? Remember what intonation was? Can you try and answer what intonation means? Tell me if you know what intonation is.
To add an extra emphasis on the sentence, like I mean, or something like that.
Not it's not a stress thing, but it's in the word itself, right? When I say intonation, that has another word hidden inside it. The word tone, right? What are we talking about? We're talking about the tones of speech, right? This is spoken again. So rising intonation, two types of intonation you probably would have, or maybe three. One is a flat tone, one is a rising tone, and one is the falling tone, right? Just to recap on what you probably had heard in there. So usually intonations, they have, they have functions to perform in your conversational language, right? Of course, tones have to be spoken. You cannot write. You can also write them, of course, but that's a different topic. We are not going to deal with that here. But usually tones are, they have functions, right? Sometimes you use tones to ask a real question. When you're asking a question and if your tone is rising, right, then this is a real question. You're asking answers. You want answer to your question, right? If it's a falling tone, then you're seeking agreement, right? So this question tag is usually something that is performed with a falling intonation, right? You do not usually use a rising intonation when you use a question tag. So how do I say it when I'm using it in speech? If the same sentence has to be said, then I'll be like, she's a doctor, isn't she? Right? I won't say, she's a doctor, isn't she? This is not how question tags sound. Okay, when someone is using a question tag, it's a falling tone, isn't she? Right? So this is an agreement, right? I'm not asking a question, I'm only asking for an agreement from you. So your answer, whatever it is, yes, she is basically you're agreeing with, right? You're confirming what I'm asking. You're not technically answering any question that I'm asking. So when you have to use sentences or even you have to express language in that kind of a situation where you're seeking confirmation or where you're seeking agreement from someone else, then you use question tag, right? That's how it works, right? This is then very different from your other interrogative questions. Keep that in mind. So that is one function for sure, right? So intonation then plays a very important role in the articulation of question tags in real language use. Okay. Then comes the question of the grammar, right? How does grammar work for the question tag? So very simple. It's not very tough to understand. First thing you need to remember is that if your statement is negative, like for example, let's also write a negative statement so that we have an example for us. He is not a sincere person, right? For example, if this is the negative statement, right? Negative because you have the negation not here, right? This is you're negating something, you're not affirming or positively confirming it. So he's not a sincere person. Your question tag would be, is he? Right? Look at this. So you have two questions at hand. She's a doctor, isn't she? He's not a sincere person, is he? So what do you gather from this thing? If you have a negative statement like this, he's not a sincere person, then your tag is going to be positive, right? Whereas in the previous case where you had an affirmative sentence or a positive sentence like she's a doctor, what you have is a negative tag. You see that? Right? So this is the first thing structurally that you need to know about uh, the way you use question tag, right? So positive sentence or affirmative sentence, negative tag, negative sentence, positive tag, right? Vice versa. So one thing is this. Now keep that in mind. Next thing is about how do you form a question tag? You know, what is it that is going to help you form a question tag? So if you observe the question tags you have in both the cases, both for the affirmative and the negative sentences, what is it that you see? What is the constitution of a question tag? What all components you have in a question tag? Isn't she? Is he? What do you have? And how can you connect it to the given sentence in both the cases? Isn't she? Is he?
Positive or negative?
Positive, negative is done. That we already discussed. Beyond that, what do you have? Is the question. Isn't she? Is he? In what way are they connected to the sentence itself? How are you actually constituting it? How are you actually making this question tag, constructing this question tag?
Madam, I cannot follow you. What you are trying to mean, madam?
You wait. You listen to others. Let others also answer. Question is very simple. The question is, how do you make a question tag? How do you construct a question tag? You have two examples in the chat. Take a look at it and try and answer how is it done. Can you comment on how that has been constructed? Isn't she? Is he? How did we come about with that? Have they got anything to do with the questions or the sentences that they have along with them? Nobody? You're not able to see it? Isn't she? Is he? How did we come about with this?
Ma'am, will it be is he or isn't he?
They are both tags. They are both tags. Question is, how did we arrive at the conclusion that this should be the tag? How did we construct those tags?
Ma'am,
No?
by looking at sentence.
By looking at sentence, exactly. So what element in the sentence did you use to make that tag? That is the question.
Helping verb.
Yes, helping verb is one. Of course, helping verb, or let's also call them the auxiliaries because that's more technical to be used.
And ma'am, the subject
Auxiliaries.
also.
Yes. So you have the helping verb or the auxiliaries and you have the subject. So these two components in a given statement is very important for us to create or construct a question tag, right? That is the point. Now, if you know that, then the only thing that remains is to know the technicalities of how to make it, right? So in the first sentence that you have, she's a doctor, isn't she? Right? In this case, what did we use? Again, you have the subject she. We have also used the verb is in this case, right? Which is the auxiliary verb is, right? Now, in this case, what has happened to its order? So in the sentence, it is she is a doctor. But the moment you have constructed a tag, what did you do? You inversed their order. So now the verb is first and the subject goes second. Isn't she? Right? So there's a subject auxiliary inversion, right? You have changed the position of the subject and the auxiliary verb, right? And because it is an affirmative sentence, you have also made the tag a negative tag. So then verb goes first, you add the negation not to it because it's an affirmative sentence. So you need a negative tag and then followed by the subject of the sentence, right? That's all. That's all. So first comes your auxiliary, then followed by a negation or not a negation based on whether your sentence is positive or negative, followed by the subject of the sentence. That's all how you make a question tag. Okay. So that is the technical way in which you construct a question tag in English language, at least. Okay. Now the other part is what if you do not have an auxiliary verb in a sentence, right? So another example. She sings beautifully. Okay. Now this is what you have at hand, right? What do we have? The problem here is that we do not have an auxiliary verb here. Now instead you have a main verb here. What do you do? How will you construct a tag? You have the subject, no problem. But where is your, yeah, tell me. Tell me, someone was speaking. What do? You will have to bring in the other helping verb, which is the trio of do, does, or did, right? Depending on what is the number and the tense of the verb involved in the sentences, you will have to choose one among do, does, and did to make your question tag. So in the given case, she sings beautifully. You have a singular subject. So your verb is also singular. The tense is present tense. Hence the choice is which one among do, does, did? Singular subject, present tense. Which among the three is used for singular subject present tense? Do or
Does.
Does.
does, right? Does. So she sings beautifully. Doesn't she? Doesn't because the sentence is affirmative, right? Doesn't
Yes.
she? She sings beautifully, doesn't she? So in all cases where you do not have an auxiliary verb, no, whether that is a auxiliary like is, are, was, were, am, etc., or auxiliaries like model auxiliaries. We already looked at the chapter on, this lesson on model, right? Model verbs. So I told you that model verbs are also auxiliary verbs because they cannot exist on their own. They need the help of a main verb in order to complete their sense, right? That's what I told you. So even they are also a part of the auxiliary that we listed. So if you have instead of is, are, was, were, am, if you have model verbs like can or could or would or all of the other things that we discussed in the last class, same thing would happen, right? But if you do not have model auxiliaries, you do not have your other auxiliaries, right? Then what you have in a sentence is basically a main verb like sing or dance or paint or jump, right? If that is the case, then you use either do, does, or did, one among the trio, based on whether your subject is singular, whether the given verb is in past tense, present tense, future tense, so on and so forth. Okay? So that's the only catch here. Maybe we'll look at one more example with the model verb so that you understand how it works. He can drive a car. What will be the tag for this? How will you form the tag? This is a positive sentence. So you'll need to use a
Can't he?
negative tag. Can't he? Right? Can't he? So you have your auxiliary here, right? Can is your auxiliary. So you directly take it out. But because this is a positive sentence, you have to use a negative tag. Hence you convert it into the negative form of the can, which is can't. Can't. And then your subject is, of course, he. Can't he? Right? So leaving aside the main verbs, every other auxiliary can be used. Convert. Just a second. Just a second.
Hello, ma'am.
Yeah. Yes, yes. Sorry. There's too much background noise. Right. Just waiting for them to move. Okay. So, except for the case of main verbs, you can use your model auxiliaries to construct your question type. That's the point. Okay. I hope you've understood. There are some more things that I want you to know, but those questions we'll take care of that while we are solving the worksheet, right? Because you will get more examples of them in those. Okay. Mostly they are based on the kind of subjects that you have in a sentence. Right now we have used very simple ones, right? Simple pronouns, third person pronouns mostly. But in the you're also going to meet with sentences which will have a little different kind of a subject, right? Not some at least something that is not as easy as he, she, it, and I, and names of people and all, right? So that we'll look at as we are discussing the um worksheet. So, any questions on this? If not, we are going to straight away look at the worksheet. Anything that you have not understood? This is a pretty easy concept. There's nothing much to break your head upon. But in case if there's anything, please do ask.
No questions, ma'am.
Nothing? Okay. So let's then go to the questions straight away. I'm going to start with the first one. You're an engineer. What do you think would be the tag?
Aren't you?
You're an engineer.
Aren't you?
You are an engineer, aren't you? Right? So uh, you have taken off the auxiliary are, and because it's a positive sentence, you have added the negation and then the subject you, right? Aren't you? Right. Next one. She can't sing. She can't sing.
Can
Then
she?
she.
Can she? Can she? Right? Again, model auxiliary inverted to become positive because this is a negative sentence, and then followed by the subject she. Right? Can she? Donna plays baseball. Donna plays baseball.
Doesn't she? Doesn't
Yes.
she?
Doesn't she? Doesn't she? Right? Why? Why?
Doesn't
What is the reason?
Ma'am, it's positive, so we have to add negative.
Ah, no, it's not. Positive is okay, fine. But why did we use does? Is the question.
No, there's no helping over here.
No, there
No
is no
helping verb,
auxiliary
right?
verb. No?
There's a main verb. We don't have any auxiliaries. You only have the main verb play, so you have to use whatever is suitable among do does. Right? Then fourth one. He
Yes,
was your
ma'am.
mentor.
Wasn't you?
He was your mentor,
Wasn't he?
wasn't he?
Wasn't
Yeah?
he?
He was your mentor, wasn't he? Right. Fifth one. She was studying. She was studying.
Wasn't
Wasn't
she?
she?
Wasn't she?
Wasn't she? Right? Wasn't she? She was studying, wasn't she? Yeah. Your mother is Irish. Your mother is Irish.
Isn't she?
Isn't she? Right? Isn't she? Isn't she? All of these, even if you look at the sentences themselves, you know, they're more like a confirmatory trials, right? So it's just like, you're trying to either seek agreement or you're just trying to confirm something that you already know. This is not a question per se. You're not asking for an answer that matter. Okay. Your mother is Irish, isn't she? Then he is now, okay, I put it in bracket because this could be either is or when you have an apostrophe s in the contractive form, he apostrophe s could mean multiple things, right? It could mean he is, he was, he has, right? You can use this to mean multiple of these. But then in this case, has is not possible because grammatically the sentence will be wrong. But it could be either is or was. Okay, so your answer, which means can be two. Any of the two could be your answer. If you're saying he is working as a mechanic, then what would be the tag?
Isn't he?
Isn't
Isn't
he?
he? If was, then it changes to wasn't. That's all. Okay. Then comes the eighth one. He does look like he's got something to say. He does look
Doesn't
like
he?
he's got something to say. What do we say? He does look like. So what is the main verb here? You have does look like he has got something to say. Which one is the main verb here? I'm sorry, not the main verb. This is the actual verb here. Does, right? Does is your actual verb here. That is the actual verb of the sentence. This is a serial verb construction, but then out of that, the one that becomes the verb of the sentence is does because that is the verb that carries the tense and number of the sentence, right? Which is why that will be the whichever verb carries the tense and verb for the sentence is the one which is the actual verb. To keep that in mind, which is does here. So then, if does is the main verb, then what's your question tag?
Doesn't he?
Doesn't he? He does look like he's got something to say, doesn't he? Now they've waited. They've waited a long time. What
Ma'am,
is your
haven't they?
auxiliary here? What is your auxiliary here?
Have.
Have, right? Have has had. So have is your auxiliary here. So how are you going to form the tag here?
Haven't they?
Make the tag.
Haven't they?
Haven't they? They visited a long, sorry, they waited a long time, haven't they? Now, you're from India. You're from India.
Aren't you? You are
Aren't
not.
you? Aren't you? Right? Same. Aren't you? You're from India, aren't you? Right? Next, he plays chess. Sorry.
Doesn't
He
she?
plays chess.
Doesn't
He plays chess, doesn't he? Yeah. He plays chess, doesn't he? She paints beautifully.
doesn't she?
Doesn't she? She paints beautifully, doesn't she? The girls wanted to go home. The girls wanted
Didn't
to
they?
go home. Sorry?
Didn't they? Didn't they?
Didn't they? Didn't they? Right? Didn't they? Because you have a past tense verb here. Okay. And your subject is plural. So didn't they? Didn't they? 14th one. Sorry, I'm late again. And there's one more. Hi, I'm not late again.
Aren't I? Aren't I?
Sorry, what is the first one? Sorry, I'm late again.
Am I?
Aren't I?
Aren't I? Aren't I? Now, this is the first question that you need to be a little careful. From here onwards, you're going to meet with a few question tags which may not be easily detectable or easily constructed based on the information that you have in the sentence, right? They're going to look a little different from what we've been doing until now. So, sorry, I'm late again. If you have am, first person be form, you know, the be form that is associated with the first person pronoun I, it is not used as amn't I. You change that to aren't I. Aren't, right? It's aren't I. Sorry, I'm late again. Aren't I? Okay. Sorry, I'm late again. Aren't I? Now look at the second sentence. Hi, I am not late again.
Am I?
What would be the tag for this? Am I? Right? So this problem arises only when you have a positive sentence. You have an affirmative sentence, right? In the negative sentence, then I am not late again. Hi, I am not late again. There you don't say aren't or are I. You can't say are I. You say am I, right? Hi, I am not late again. Am I? Not are I. But sorry, I'm late again. Aren't I? This difference you need to keep in mind, right? This am is anyway a little tricky word. You know, it's a irregular form as we call them. So there could be some adjustments that you see because of the irregularity of the form, but that you need to be careful of. Now, second one, 15th one. Martin used to live in Scotland. Martin used to live
Didn't
in
didn't he? Didn't he?
Didn't he? Didn't he? So used to is almost decoded as a past tense, a simple past tense, almost like, you know, the simple past tense form was, right? So if with that you have any say, this is very similar to the question number 13. It is interpreted in similar way grammatically as the 13th sentence. The girls wanted to go home, didn't they? So similarly, Martin used to live in Scotland, didn't he? Okay. This need to be decoded in that way, right? Anything that is, if the verb in the sentence is in past tense, then you know that, and if it is not in the auxiliary format, then you know that you have to use did, right? Did or didn't based on whether your sentence is positive or negative. So Martin used to live in Scotland, didn't he? Now, 16th, we ought to start now. Really?
Ought not we?
We ought to start
Shall
now.
we?
Ought not we?
Shall we? No, not
Ought
shall.
not
We
we?
ought to start now, really. You're closer, but you need to look at a little deeper. We
Ought
ought to.
not we?
Ought to is what? Ought not we. Okay, oughtn't we? Yes, you can spot some people saying oughtn't we. That's not wrong. But there's another answer that fits here. Oughtn't we is not wrong, by the way. But I'm
Haven't
looking for some other answer. Which one? Sorry.
haven't
Aren't we?
Ma'am, it should be should we?
Aren't we?
Should we? Aren't we? Okay. Can you also give me reasons for your answers? I think that way we can either say yes or no to that. Why do you think it is the one who answered shall we? Why do you think that should be the case?
Ma'am, I have read earlier that if we use let's or let us, then we should use shall be as an exception. So I thought
Okay,
it
so
would be also.
shall we cannot use. I'll give you the straightforward answer for that. Here we are not going to use shall we, although there are cases where we use shall we, but that's reserved for a different kind of sentence. We cannot do that here because this is a positive sentence. And usually by rule, for positive sentences, you need a negative tag, right? So shall we doesn't fit here. We can't do that. We ought to start now, really. Oughtn't we is a good answer. Okay. That is a good answer. But there are also other answer suitable here.
Shouldn't mean. Shouldn't
Shouldn't.
mean.
Yeah. Should, right? Shouldn't we? Because remember, when we were discussing semi-modal verbs in the last class, I told you, ought to, supposed to, these are the kind of semi-modals which work similarly in meaning to the verb, modal verb should. Used for advice, used to suggest. So either you say oughtn't we, or we can say shouldn't we. Okay, shouldn't because the sentence is positive. Okay? Else you would have used should. So either you write oughtn't we or you write shouldn't we. Both are acceptable answers, right? In fact, in your day-to-day conversations, you wouldn't hear too many people using oughtn't we. Mostly, what people prefer to do would be shouldn't we. We ought to start now, really, shouldn't we? This is what you're going to hear most often. Oughtn't be is also right. There are people who might use it, but the frequency of usage is not as high as shouldn't be. Okay, so preferably it should be shouldn't be, right? If you're looking for the most appropriate response to this tag, then it would be shouldn't. Okay. Now 17th one. Here's where we are going to talk about the one that you just gave as an answer for the 16th one. Remind me this evening.
Will you?
Will you, right? Remind me this evening, will you? Now, where did you get this you from? You is not in the sentence. How did you get it from? Where did you get it from?
Ma'am, because we are talking to the second person.
Yes, because this is an imperative sentence. Remind me this evening is an imperative sentence. Imperative sentences are usually the one which are used to express commands and requests in English language. Normally, imperative sentences in Englishes do not have a subject, right? That is, they do not have a they don't have a logical subject. The subject is not detected in the sentence, but they have a conceptual subject, which is always you, right? It's always told to the second person. Command is always given to the second person or anybody who occupies the person position is second. So if I have to complete the sentence, it is you remind me this evening, right? So then the automatically the subject here is you, and the tag is will you. This is an imperative sentence, right? Will you? So are there other tags possible with this? So for
Can you?
example, say, remind me this evening, won't you? Is that wrong?
No, ma'am. I think it is also suitable.
Remind me this evening. Okay, yeah. Remind me this evening, won't you? Right? That is also right. Remind me this evening, will you? That is also fine. Any other answers that's possible?
Can you?
Can you? Okay. Can you? Any other answers?
Won't you?
Won't you? Can you? Could you? Would you?
Will you?
Positive.
Will you is already right. No, we discussed that, right? So will you? No, the most natural responses would be will you, could you, would you. If you're looking for more other responses, then it would be won't you. Won't you is a little. It's a little outdated now. People may not ask you that way, but still, it's also an acceptable response. Can you is an acceptable response. Won't you is an acceptable response. Will you is an acceptable response. Would you is an acceptable response. Could you is an acceptable.
Could.
So anything could go here, right? Mostly will you, would you, could you, can you, won't you. These are all usually seen along with a sentence that is imperative in nature. It's a special kind of a sentence, which is why it is acceptable to more options, right? It's not your typical subject verb, subject verb object kind of sentence, right? So natural response, of course, will you, but other answers such as could you, can you, would you, won't you are also allowed. Okay.
Ma'am,
Yes, go ahead.
but this was positive sentence.
No, it doesn't matter in this case, which is what I said. This is an imperative sentence. Even if you have like a negative sentence here, will you not? Sorry. So maybe say I change this to negative. Remind me not to wake him up. Will you? You don't have to say won't you. Still will say will you. Okay.
Madam, for question number 17, which you are just discussing, There may be an option that don't you?
No, not don't you. Don't you doesn't make sense there, right? Don't you is usually just they are earmarked only for the cases where you don't have an auxiliary verb in the sentence. You only have a main verb. Here, that is not the case. This is a different kind of a sentence. The nature of the sentence is different, which is why you are allowing for more acceptable forms. The 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 positioning and the structure of the sentence, right, is not as common as that you have in the case with a declarative sentence. It's not your regular sentence where you have a subject and then an object and then the verb and all, right? This is a different one. The subject is outwardly absent in this case. So that brings about certain changes in the way the grammar functions for this. And that, which is why you have some of these responses. Don't you doesn't make even meaning wise, it doesn't make much sense. Remind me this evening, don't you is not something that makes much sense meaning wise also. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Will you and the other options that most natural response is will you, of course, but other options, the ones that we discussed also goes sometimes.
Can't you can we use
Sorry?
or can't you
Uh,
can
Remind me this evening, can't you know? Again, not necessary, right? It changes the meaning. That is not what our point is. Remind me this evening, can't you? No.
so
It is a
we cannot
confirmation sentence. See, if when you say can't you, it is not, you're not either seeking agreement, you're neither confirming. It gives you a different meaning, like just like in the case of don't you. If you need to get the exact meaning of confirmation and agreement, then you have to use the tags that I mentioned. When you say can't you, where is it giving you any meaning of agreement and confirmation?
so in this case we can't use negative.
No, we are using won't, right? I said won't is okay.
Okay.
Remind me this evening, won't you? Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. Then same goes. I think the next few are all based on that. 18th one, pass me that pen. Most natural response would be what? Will you? Right? Pass me that pen, will you? And then you have all those other options that we just mentioned also. 19th one again, come here a minute. Come here a minute.
Can you
Will you, right? See, whenever you have a question like this, please naturally respond to it as will you. Okay. Only if you
Okay.
have a secondary question on can I use would you, then you can say yes to that, right? But preferably it's always will you. Whenever you have a question in imperative format, immediately answer it as will you. That's the most natural and appropriate response to it. I mentioned the other things because those are also commonly heard, right? So don't get confused when people talk to you. Do not think that what, but wasn't it will you? I'm saying the other options are also available, although the most appropriate is will you. Formally, if you're doing it, then it's also will you. Okay. So pass me that pen, will you? Come here a minute, will you? Okay. 20th one, let's have the meeting now. This is a little different from the previous one, but this is also kind of an imperative sentence, but mostly in the subjunctive mode. So let's have the meeting now. Shall we? Yes, shall we? Right. This is a way you seek permission, but more in a semi-formal way, right? Shall we? Right. Let's have the meeting now. Shall we? Again, seeking confirmation from someone. Let's have the meeting now. Shall we? Right. So this is again. Let's have a meeting now is also imperative, but then it's also in the subjunctive, not in the imperative. Okay. So let's have the meeting now. Shall we? Okay, so all these let's have the kind of sentences, they're always going to take shall be as your question tag. Imperative sentences, they're all going to take will you as your question tag, right? Same like in the case of imperative sentence where you had you as your subject. In the case of let's have the meeting now, your subject is we, right? Because there's more than, you definitely know there's more than one person involved in this case. So you cannot write anything that is singular. Subject has to be plural, so we, right? Shall we? Then 21, someone knows the answer. Someone knows the answer.
Does they?
Someone knows the answer, does they? No, look at it a little more carefully. Someone knows the answer. Now, what is this? So before we look at the answer, tell me something about this. What do you understand about the subject of the sentence? Tell me that first. What kind of a subject do you have here? No, don't give me the answer now. Listen to my question first. What do you know about the subject of this sentence? Someone knows the answer.
Singular, singular.
It is singular. More
It's
than that,
singular.
what kind of? It is singular, yes. But give me something more specifically about the subject. What do you understand? Is it like for he and she and it and all? No, right?
It's referring to people's maybe in front of them.
Sorry, come again. I did not hear you.
Maybe the sentence referring to the people in front of us.
No. Let's not draw too many conclusions. It's a very simple question. How is this subject different from the other subjects that we were seeing until now? We discussed a few cases where you had somebody's name as the subject, case where you had pronouns like he, she, it as the subject, and also the case where we did not have an explicit subject like in the imperative. Here we
Madam, what I understand here, subject is not very definite. Someone maybe, but I don't know who that person.
It's there in your answer. It's there in your answer. The subject is not definite. This is an indefinite pronoun. Example of an indefinite pronoun, right? What are the other indefinite pronouns?
When will it be? Don't they?
No. Just wait.
Anyone.
We just need to finish discussing this. The answer is okay.
Anyone?
That you can figure out.
Anyone?
Anyone?
Anyone, correct? Right? So someone and someone, somebody, something, anyone, anybody, anything, everyone, everybody, everything, no one, nothing, nobody, right? These are all examples of what we call as indefinite pronouns, right? We know pronouns are subjects, like in the case of he, she, it. This is a different kind of a pronoun, an indefinite pronoun, right? All of them are examples of singular indefinite pronouns, right? So when we have these kind of subjects as your, sentence subjects, these kind of words as your subjects, then the tag always takes they. The subject in the tag is always they. So someone knows the answer, right? Don't they? We are using don't. Why? Because
It's singular.
it is singular. Yes, correct. And no is what? It's a main verb. It's not an auxiliary. So you have to choose do, does, don't. Because your subject is singular here, you're choosing. Just a second. Yeah, sorry. Right. So you have an indefinite singular subject and you have a verb that is a main verb. It is not an auxiliary. So you have to choose do, right? And because this is a positive sentence, you also have to have a subject. You also have to use the negation not. So don't and they. Subject is they in all the cases where you have an indefinite pronoun as the subject. Okay. Now, what could be the reason for that? You can always ask a question. If the subject is singular, then why are we using they? Why aren't we using anything that is singular? What is your guess? Someone knows the answer. Whom they?
We are taking one from many.
This will also answer your question on why we are not using doesn't and why you're saying don't they. Why are we using do and why are we using they? Why are we making the tag plural?
Because someone is a collection of people. Yeah.
Because it's indefinite subject.
It is an indefinite subject, yes. But we are also saying that the subject is singular, right?
So it's an indefinite, so we cannot describe the any means any numerical value like it's a 2% or 3%. So we consider that.
So see,
We are selecting
okay.
or choosing from many.
We are just
little louder.
describing as a group name to the group of peoples or things maybe.
Correct. Okay. Correct. Correct. You're almost right. Your answer is almost right. Yeah. Salman, you had something to add to this?
Because we are choosing or selecting peoples from many or a group.
Okay. You're choosing. Correct. That is a very important word to use. You're choosing, which means we're talking about a group. Yes. Right. When you say someone, anybody, everybody, we know we are talking about a collection. I think that was another word that someone used, right? Collection of people. So we're talking about definitely more than one. But among that collection, your reference is individual. You're talking about individuals within that collection. So reference is singular. Although we are talking about more than one, the question at hand or the topic at hand is about more than one, a group of people, a collection of things. Still, the reference that we are trying to make is for individual units within that group, right? That's the reason why, even though it gives you a flavor of plurality, the reference by itself is in singularity, right? And hence this verb is also singular. If the action is referred individually to the people within the units within the group, then of course the verb has to be singular, right? Which is why this confusion happens sometimes. People ask, if it is singular, then why are we using plural tag? We're using plural tag because there is, although the reference is to individuals, we are yet talking about a collection of people or things. That's the reason, right? It's a very subtle, beautiful, minute difference that language can draw, but these things are important grammatically to write without making any errors, right? Without committing any errors. Understood that point? Any question? And this is the case for all the indefinite pronouns, right? So everything that we listed, someone, somebody, something, anyone, anybody, anything, everyone, everybody, everything, no one, nobody, nothing, so on and so forth. Okay? Is that point clear?
Ma'am, can you repeat it once again? I was unable to understand.
What do you want me to repeat? Tell me, which part did you not understand?
Ma'am, the part that you were talking previously.
That these indefinite pronouns are their question tags are plural, because although the reference is to individual units within the collection, you're still referring to the action at large for the whole collection, for the whole group of people or things involved in that. The flavor is still that. That's why. Okay. So which is for that reason, every time you have an indefinite pronoun, your tag is going to be plural. Someone knows the answer, don't they? Okay. Nobody wants to go out. What will be the answer for this then? 22nd one. Nobody wants to go out. Do they? Right? Do they? Nobody, because it is do they and not don't they, because you have a negative subject. Nobody. Right?
There is
Nobody
negation
wants
in
to go out.
sentence.
Yes, there is negation inherent in the indefinite pronoun subject nobody. Right? That's why. Nobody wants to go out, do they? Everybody speaks English here. What's the answer?
Don't they?
Don't they? Right?
Don't
Everybody speaks English here. References to individuals within the group. But then again, still there is a larger reference to everyone who's a part of it also. Right? Everybody speaks English here. Right? Don't they? Anyone understands this rule? Anyone
they?
understands this rule?
Don't they?
Don't they? Don't they? Anyone understands this rule? Don't they? Okay. No one ever listens. No one ever
Do they?
listens.
Do they?
Do they? Do they? No one ever listens. Do they? Somebody helped you yesterday. Somebody
Didn't
helped
they?
you. Didn't they?
Didn't.
Because helped you yesterday, right? Past tense. So somebody helped you yesterday, didn't they? Again, we are not changing the number. It's still plural, but we change the tense because the tense is past tense here. 27. Everyone left the hall.
Didn't they?
Everyone left the hall. Didn't they?
Didn't they?
Everyone left the hall. Didn't they? Nobody came to the meeting.
Do they?
Do they?
Nobody came to the meeting. Past tense.
Didn't they? Did they?
Did they? Nobody came to the meeting. Did they? Okay. Did they? Someone forgot their bag.
Didn't they?
Didn't they? Someone forgot their bag. Didn't they? Okay. No one noticed the error. No one
Did they?
noticed the error.
Did they?
Did they? Did they? Okay. So is this point clear to you? I want to know it before I end my discussion on this.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Let me give you a few more examples. I wanted to discuss this as well with you. Few were interested in the proposal. One. Second one, several have applied for the job. And I think I need one more. All is well. All is well. Some I think we already discussed, but let me see if I can add that as well. Some are unhappy. Some are unhappy. Some are unhappy. Then let's say most are happy. So let me use most are happy. None were present. Okay, I think this should be enough. Yeah, what do you think are the answers to these questions? Few were interested in the proposal. Few were interested in the proposal.
Were they?
Didn't they?
Were they?
Few were interested.
Weren't they?
Were they? Were they?
Were
Right?
they?
Because we have the verb there already, right? Few were interested in the proposal. Were they? Okay. Several have applied for the job.
Haven't.
Haven't they?
Haven't they? Haven't they? All is well.
Isn't it?
Isn't.
All is well, isn't it? Yes. All is well, isn't it? Right? Some are unhappy.
Aren't they?
Aren't they?
Some are unhappy, aren't they? Right? Then most are happy. Most are happy.
Aren't they?
No, so some are unhappy. What did you say? Aren't they? Okay,
Aren't
correct.
they?
Ma'am, will it be will there be negation or only the positive will be there?
Which
No.
question?
Because the some are unhappy because the unhappy is negative, no?
No, unhappy is not a negative, I think.
No, unhappy is not.
It's
that
similar
doesn't
word
matter.
to the sad.
Yes, yes, and also we are not going to look at the other forms. You're going to see if the negation is present either in the subject part or on the verb itself, right? So otherwise, unhappy is what? Unhappy is an adjective. Like he said, it's a replacement for the word sad. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Some are unhappy. So aren't they? That's fine. The verb is not disturbed, right? No problem. Aren't they? Then most are happy. What was your response?
Aren't
Aren't they? Aren't they? Again, same thing. Most are happy. Aren't they? None were present.
were
None
they?
Weren't
Were
they?
they? Were they? Were they? Why? Because none is already in
None is
negation.
present. Okay, okay.
Were they? Right? Yeah.
Yes.
So some of these examples you need to keep in mind, and I mean they work similarly. You can also add, phrases like each of them, none of us, all of us. They're all going to behave in the same way, right? So my point is, when you're studying question tags, of course, the topic itself is quite easy, right? There's nothing much to break your head upon. You don't have to really worry about it. But what you should be keeping in mind is to understand the varieties of subjects that you have in English language. So see what are the different kinds of subjects that you can have. And I've discussed most of them. If there is anything left while you're revising, see if there is anything, that is peculiar, a subject that you think is peculiar. Because we know that in English, we also, we don't just have a single word subject. You can also have subjects that are phrasal. We can have subjects that are clausal in nature, right? So you could see how this differs if the question tag in such cases could be different, although it is not. I mean, just having a bigger subject or a bigger chunk as your subject doesn't usually change the grammar associated with question tag. But when you practice, if you're curious enough, you can look up those as well. But for the exam purpose, I think this much should be more than enough, right?
Ma'am,
Keep
for
in
quiz,
mind.
ma'am,
Yes, speak up.
ma'am, for quiz 2, the syllabus will be from week 5 to 8 or from week 1 to 8?
I am not sure about that. Please follow your grading document. Okay. If your grading document mentions 1 to 8, then it has to be 1 to 8. Although I think it should be 1 to 8.
It's 1 to 8.
Yeah.
1 to 8.
It's 1 to 8.
Okay. Ma'am, one more request I have to make. Actually, please upload the videos till today.
Which videos?
These session videos, past 3.
Session videos.
Yes, ma'am.
It's
Past
not
3 weeks.
uploaded yet.
No, past 3
no,
weeks.
ma'am.
Past 3 weeks not uploaded, ma'am.
There is no.
It has not been uploaded.
There
Okay.
is no recording.
Yeah,
available.
this thing keeps happening. I will alert the team about it. Okay, let them know.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. Also, another thing, whenever this doesn't happen, no, like I told you in the last session, please put up a post in your discourse forum and alert the instructors that this has not been done, right? So that they can be on track with this. Because usually this is uploaded it has to be done at the back end. So sometimes we ourselves don't know. So if you don't see this being done regularly, please say that, this video is not uploaded. So someone is going to take up charge. Okay. Yeah, that's all. So like I was saying, closing remark for me is that you explore the different kind of subjects that are available in English language. What are the different ways in which people construct subject in the English? What do you have available as single word subjects? What are other possibilities? How does the question tag change based on the difference in the subject? These things you can look up, right? Although I think I've discussed most of it, but see, if you're curious enough, please look around, right? See, read something, read materials online, or if you read and if you've spotted something different than all of this, you can make a note of that as well, right? Keep in mind, this is a very important thing, right? As far as spoken English is concerned, your ability to use question tags correctly is a good marker of your fluency in the language. So keep them handy. They'll help you. They make for really great conversation markers. Okay. All right. So that's all for today. We're ending 2 minutes early today because we do not have anything more to say. So if your questions are all done, we'll call it a day. I'll meet you next week again. I think we have to discuss
Ma'am,
embedded clause and question clause. Yes.
Ma'am,
ma'am,
Yes,
Ma'am,
ma'am. Somebody please speak.
ma'am, is there a mail called about conversational classes? So tomorrow there's a convocation. Can you tell me about what's happened in that class?
I do not know, Gurkirat. I think if they have already sent you an email, the email should contain that information, right?
Ma'am, in this email they're only talking about that the person who don't have a speaking environment, we provide these classes for that. But I don't know how they do this. If you have
No,
a-
so just look at the mail and just do whatever they're asking, instructing you to do. They probably are only collecting samples, speech samples at this point. Just do that. If they select you, because it's a restricted class, not everyone gets an entry to that. It's not available for everyone. It's not an open
I
session
think
like this.
I get the link
So
for that. And tomorrow there's a class.
tomorrow there's a class. If there's a class, then you please go to the class. I think that classes happen, it's taken by a different instructor. So they'll have better idea of how they're planning to conduct the sessions. I do not do that. So I don't have access to it. They usually do it, they tailor make it based on the cohort that they get every time. So I don't think the activities or anything is fixed for that. So please do as instructed, as the mail directs you. Just attend the session. They'll give you more information on how they would do it. You don't have to be prepared with anything. I do not think so. If
Okay, ma'am. Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am.
yes, go ahead. But
Yeah,
before
yeah.
that, I think Karthik's hand is raised. Karthik,
Ma'am,
I'll let him go first.
ma'am, I have two questions. One is related to the course. Means in there is a week 7. There is a first activity about the making a radio report. I quite don't understand what we have to do in that. And second, I will go after that. Can you first take this question of mine? Radio report.
That
I've
you
watched
will
the
have
lecture several
to.
times, but I quite don't understand basically what we have to
Uh,
summarize that documentary or what.
I am yet to see the question, Karthik. I don't have the question with me. I'll have to take a look at it before I answer that question. But what you can do is, I would suggest you is that you can write the same question on the forum so that you get a detailed response to this, right? And that it's not too late. Someone, maybe Tessa or somebody, would reply. Give you a reply on that. It's an activity question you mentioned, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so activity questions, usually some of the, especially the writing modules, they might have a little bit of a descriptive question to answer that may have more information than what I can give you right now in the call. So it's better you write this, raise this question in the forum so that you'll get a detailed reply. Okay.
Okay, ma'am, can I ask about some spoken English, like speaking problem?
Yeah, you can. I'll try and help. If I have an
Yes,
answer,
ma'am.
I'll definitely.
Ma'am, I feel like when I speak to anyone in the English, so I feel like I don't have a much of a words. Means I use a simpler words to express. It's not like that I'm uh, stuck in some places or I don't do speak fluently, but it just feel like I don't have much words, variety of words, as per.
That's because of lack of exposure, Karthik. That happens to everyone for whom English is not their native language, right? It doesn't come so naturally to us as it's the case with native speakers. And that's also because our environments in which, or our domains in which we use English language is restricted, right? Not all of us socialize in English. If we
Yes, ma'am.
socialize more in English with people who are English speakers, then you get more natural at this, right? It becomes more organic for us. But if you do not have enough environments to interact with people in the given language, then this does happen. The target language use becomes reduced, and by virtue of that, your capacity to use it also gets a little restricted. So, what you can do is you need to do things that can expose you more into the language, to the language, right? So, you'll have to listen more, you'll have to watch more, you'll have to consciously use English more with people so that you get a chance to speak it, not for them but mostly for your purpose, for your own improvement. You'll have to consciously make a choice to use English more often and in more domains that you're using it now. Where all do you use English now? do you
Basically,
do you
ma'am.
do you speak English at home? No.
No, because I
No, right?
speak
Yeah.
basically with the friends or some of like basically these meetups happens now in that
Huh.
types of things basically.
Yeah. Yeah. So what you can do is you can, if you're informally connected with them, so instead of maybe choosing to text and
No, no,
message each other, you can be
it's
on a
it's
call
like
mostly.
it's just like a this Google Meet, just a
I
friendly
know, I
conversation.
understand. I am not concerned about the kind of, the mode of meetings that you have. I am more interested in, you talking. So speak more often than, typing out and messaging and all that. I am saying this because you live in the age of internet language.
Yes.
Even to type a word that has just three letters in all, people would just say you. Okay, instead of Y or you, people just write you, and people prefer using very very few words while they text. Right? No one wants to type it out. You feel
Mhm.
tired, or you feel generally a little lethargic in doing such things. But in
Mhm.
speaking, that's not a problem. Usually, people do not find very lethargic. They don't experience lethargy while they speak. Right?
Okay.
So, which is why I prefer people trying to talk to each other while they are trying to improve their conversation, because conversations, right? Have conversations. and not written text messages. Find avenues to do that. And additionally, you could also expose yourself to more language, listen and watch more of the content in the target language, right? That will also sort of familiarize you, will also give you more a chance to get immersed in the cultural aspects of the language as well, right? These are few things that you can do. Be more active, like, whenever there's like a public speaking context or contest or of that sorts. Do not worry too much about how you're presenting yourself, how you are posturing yourself. Just go ahead and speak, unless you're going to give yourself some practice in this informal and formal forms, you're not going to get to the stage where you can speak confidently, or even find this feeling that you were describing, that I feel like I get stuck somewhere, or I do not have the actual word, the right word to make my point. All of
No,
this happens because we have very limited conversations. We should
no.
do that more.
Basically, I don't get stuck or don't have a word. It's just that I use basically simple words, not like maybe use the various type of different words for the
What do
same
you
meaning.
define simple words for me? What do
uh,
you mean by simple words? Anurag, I'm really sorry. I don't know you're still in the call. This conversation is going a little
Yeah,
lengthy.
ma'am, I'm there, ma'am.
Do you have a question which is not of this nature? Is it something related to a doubt or something?
Ma'am,
If
I
that's the
have
case, you
two.
please go ahead and ask it.
Ma'am, I have 2 3 questions actually. So, first
You have two,
question,
three questions.
yes, ma'am.
Okay. What kind of questions are these? Are these, these kind of
Different nature.
um,
Ma'am, the one is similar to that which Karthik asked, and other is
okay, fine.
different
Then
one.
let me talk to Karthik first. So, yeah, Karthik, just to take off from what I was, continue from what I was talking about, exposure is the key, right? You
okay,
improve only when you have exposure, whether that is written or spoken.
okay,
Unless you expose yourself, get yourself more in touch and contact with the language, it becomes tough for you to articulate. That's the
okay,
point, right?
okay,
I'm okay more or less because I'm a teacher. This is my job. I'm doing it every day. I have several people with whom I'm communicating. I have a conversation with on a daily basis, so it's okay for me. I'm surrounded by people with whom I can talk in English. So this conversational classes or practice, this particular segment that you have, is exactly aimed to solve this issue. We get several requests from people saying that I want to speak in English, I want to improve, but then I do not have people around who can talk to me in English. So someone who's looking forward to improve your conversation skills, this is a huge barrier, not having a partner to talk to, right? So this session has been designed keeping that in mind, right?
yes,
If you think that is a problem for you, you can write to the people in charge. I'll leave her email ID here. I think it's Aishwarya who manages that. I'll leave her work ID here. You can write to her. I'm not sure how far have they reached in the selection process, but you can still, write to them to try and include you. That should be a nice venture. Personally, I feel like it should be a nice thing for people who are trying to improve on your speaking skills, right? It
I
will
think
solve
it's
your issue
7 is
to
the last
some
date.
extent.
yes, ma'am.
Sorry.
7 is the last date, I think, ma'am.
7, but you still write to them, no problem. It's okay. They might have some deadlines, but you can still write to them and see if they can include you. The only problem is that they do not allow too many people inside that session. So it's a restricted session, but you can still write. Please write to them and try and find out. Even if they do not let you do, you can still do some things on your part, like the things that I've suggested. Keep doing it. Only until you do things every day, you are not going to perfect it. That's the whole idea behind this. Practice makes one perfect is not something that is ideal for just mathematics, right? Anything is perfected with practice, whether maths or science or
Language.
liberal arts or humanities, whatever it is, right? Right.
Yes, ma'am.
Do
Definitely.
that.
Thank you, ma'am.
Sure, sure, sure. Okay, now where is Anurag?
Yeah, ma'am. Ma'am,
Yeah.
actually, the first is like I want to remind you due to your busy schedule that please get the videos uploaded at the earliest
I think
because
we already had a discussion on that, right? Someone already
yeah.
reminded that. Yeah,
Okay, ma'am. Because
yeah.
your videos were very helpful, ma'am. Like figures of speech video,
Sure.
which
Thank you.
helped me
I'll ask
understand.
the uploading part is not on me, but I'll definitely push them to do it on time. And like I said, please, Just go right on the forum so that it's the instructors know about it. The uploading part is not done by the instructors, which
Then
is
on the
they have.
Discord
So,
there is a separate
thread for
place
this.
thread for this. Yeah,
Okay, good.
there
Fine.
is separate.
I mean, I'll do it. I'll let them know.
Okay, ma'am.
But
Thank
some
you very
things get speeded up when it's there in writing on the forum, which is why I encourage you to write. Anyway, so
much.
that's one thing. Yeah. What other questions did you have?
Ma'am, other question is like this conversational classes. No, ma'am, can I join now because I didn't keep track of
I
this?
just sent a mail to Aishwarya. I've left her mail ID in
Okay,
the chat. Aishwarya at
yes,
the rate
ma'am.
study.it.
Ma'am, and the third problem is that like I am also facing conversational issue. Like earlier, like like some years back, I was fluent, ma'am, but now I feel hesitation actually. So I hesitate like
Mhm.
I have a lot of
What has
hesitation.
happened between these few years to you to for this?
The 2-3 years back, ma'am. But I don't
Why?
know, ma'am. My confidence level has
Okay.
fallen actually.
Okay. There could be personal, professional reasons. Sometimes it's
Yes.
also because there has been a long gap in the kind of engagements that you've had. Maybe you are doing something that's more actively conversational in nature, and now you do not do. A lot of this happens to a lot of people who do desk jobs, right? If they are
And ma'am,
not someone who's
when I
doing
am
a
when I'm depressed or I'm a little bit tense, then my fluency drops significantly, ma'am. Actually,
when you are what? Sorry.
I'm a bit depressed or a bit tense. I'm
Uh-huh.
not feeling my fluency in English drops
Those kind of
considerably, ma'am.
hesitations, I think, is quite natural and it's okay. You don't have to force yourself to speak if you do not feel like it. But, you can, I think, I do not know. Initially, during the COVID times, we used to have something called the clubhouse. I don't know how active Clubhouse is now. This is precisely, at least, I felt in one sense it was a very nice platform because you were faceless, you were identityless, so people weren't very inhibited in talking. And Clubhouse used to have several of these English speaking classes. I do not know if it is available anymore.
Yes, ma'am.
Uh,
It's available.
it
There are
still does.
clubs
It still
who
does. I
like.
think even WhatsApp also have certain groups like that. I have not attended or have not officially been part of any, so I cannot suggest you anything from the top of my mind. But if you're looking for something like that, then I think Clubhouse is a good option. Several social media platforms now have these things. So whichever groups you feel comfortable, you can join them. If, for example, if you're someone who has more knowledge in say sports, right? Then you can join something that's related to sports, a club that is associated with sports. Why am I saying this? Because when you're asked to speak of something that you know of, you can do it without hesitation, right? It's when you're given something to talk of which you do not have much idea about, all these things set in, all of these anxiety and this fear and all sets in because you're not sure what to say, how much to say, what not to say. So begin with a place where you're a little confident in than the other cases, comparatively more confident. I think it should help you. Do that. And if you want to join the conversational classes, please do. Please write to Aishwarya. I'm sure she'll help you out. They don't
Yes,
use
ma'am. Sure, ma'am.
money.
Sure, I
Write to
will
them.
write to Aishwarya, ma'am.
Right.
Ma'am, and one more thing, like I fear that the right phrase at the time of conversation, or the right
Do
phrase
not fear. It's
might
okay.
not.
What would happen? No one's going to kill you because you said some wrong sentence in English, right? Everyone knows. You don't have to talk. You think English speakers don't make mistake while they speak? Speaking is a different kind of ability. What is right and wrong is a different question. The point here should not be I should speak right and I should speak perfectly. That's not the point. The idea of communication is that you should be able to express your ideas to the next person, right? It could be wrong sometimes. So if it's wrong, so what? Other person would just point out saying that part what you said is wrong. You could very humbly say that, okay, I'm sorry about that, I'll check back and get back to you, right? I'll check it and get back to you. Do not be bothered about whether my is was right or my tense was right or my number was right. Speak first, begin somewhere first. Rest of the things, as you do these things every day, when you practice it more, you talk more, you engage more, you'll automatically see all of those mistakes vanishing. There comes a stage where you stop getting conscious about these things and automatically they go out. We all began like that. We never spoke the way we used to speak today. It was always bad. It was always broken. It used to sound horrific. in the beginning. But over years of engaging with the content and with this language, we've at least been able to come at least this far, right?
Ma'am, the
So
problem
it
is that
happens to everyone.
I like my vocabulary is good, but the right word and the right phrase doesn't strike at the right timing.
That's why you're too hung up on the thing right. You forget about whether it is right or wrong, right? You just speak, you do your work. Right and wrong is a different thing. Right phrase, there's nothing called, it's a language. I can always come up with a right phrase. Just because someone used a phrase and it got some appreciation doesn't mean that has to be the norm for everybody. I can come up with my own, something that I have constructed myself. No, I can have my own phrases. And if you're talking about the accepted celebrated phrases and all, of course that also comes with practice. You see it in 10 places used by 10 different people, that retains in your brain. You can remember it better, right? These
Yes,
things happen
ma'am.
only if you are not in
Yes, ma'am.
practice of doing.
Yes, ma'am.
That's all.
Ma'am, sometimes like I'm clueless also sometimes like which phrase to use, so I get tongue tied
Hmm.
actually.
Hmm. Yeah,
So
all of it points towards the same thing, right? Exposure, practice. Exposure and practice. Both of these two things would solve every problem, including, uh, you know, uh, affective problems like, anxiety, fear, hesitation, lack of motivation, no willingness, reticence, everything. All of those factors that you can, or barriers that people usually face in language learning and using, they're solved usually through exposure and practice. That's the only
and
way you.
ma'am, one more problem, like it is a bit I think psychological because I get intimidated by people actually, and I become conscious actually.
Yeah, again, same thing. Same thing. Effective factor, right? This is again psychological reasons, right? You think
Yes.
others are better than me. You need to think they are not better than me. They probably are good, but not necessarily better than me. And even if they are better, then just take it as an opportunity to learn from them. That's all.
Okay, thank you,
And
ma'am.
if people make fun of you, that's their problem. That's not your problem. You don't have to bother with such people, right? That's not your problem. It's their problem. It's their personality disorder. You don't have to bother with that. So
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very
yeah,
much.
no issues.
Ma'am, I have a small
Yeah, good,
doubt.
Kiran. Go ahead.
Ma'am, when we say thank you,
Hmm.
so in my area, people used to reply me like a welcome. But
Hmm.
when I said in classes like tea session and all, they say no
Hmm.
worry and all. So which is a better way to reply? If
No
someone
worries is a modern replacement for thank you. Maybe for some people, thank you, they feel thank you is too formal, right? So if you want to maybe say ease out the situation a little bit or make the interaction a little informal, then they probably say no worries. And this no worries is also something that is ultra modern. This has come up in the times of your messengers, your chat messengers. So it's okay. You can neither say no worries, but if it's a formal situation, please say thank you. Okay. In formal conversations, it's always preferred that you say thank you, not no worries. You can't be
no,
doing a
no,
formal presentation and someone says, sorry, you cannot say that, oh, no worries. You have to say thank
no, no, ma'am. If
you. Sorry,
someone
welcome,
says
welcome,
thank you,
not
so
thank you.
how okay,
Yeah,
okay,
I meant
okay.
welcome. I did say thank you, sorry. Welcome is far better. It's far better in the sense it's more formal than saying no worries.
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
Sure.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you so much. All right. Thank you for the questions. Thank you for your time. I'll see you again next week. I'll sign off for today. Right? Bye. See you everyone.